Okay, top line news is India are through to the Super 8s, but they made you work for it, didn't they, India fans? Oh, I got pretty nervous down here at the World Trade Center. Not the first time, and it's sponsored by these guys.
Now delivering in 10 minutes.
Pezza, we're down here at the World Trade Center, down at the Fan Park, is what they're calling it, and it got a little sweaty down here.
Got to say.
A little quiet.
Yeah, well, so we got down here with about 10 overs to go,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
There's a couple of hundred people here, and fair to say mainly Indian fans,
Yeah.
Team India fans.
I saw one guy wearing a Pakistan shirt, to be fair.
There was a point during this activation where, like, the official ICC, this is an official park area, like fan park. So the ICC, what are they? The characters, figures, the mascots?
Yes.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But they came out and started to dance in front of everybody, which is obviously part of a, I hope they're on minimum wage or something, and then getting paid and whatever.
Yep.
Nobody reacted because
No.
there was
It was a honey trap for a start. Let's be clear about that.
Very, very clear.
Yeah.
But
Interpol.
there was a lot of nerves. There was a lot of silence. Only broken when a 5-run penalty was conceded, and everybody was up and about here down at the World Trade Center. It was just getting a little close, and the old 5-run penalty got pulled out of the hat that you've never heard of before in your life.
Jay Shah, you've done it again. You genius. You absolute genius. You bastard.
Yeah. It was just like, this is so good for cricket that the US is getting involved. All right, a little too close for comfort.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Let's get through your overs a bit quicker, boys.
And I saw one guy here as the umpire gave the 5 penalty run signal, and one guy stood up here and started waving his Indian flag.
That's
It
right.
was a proud moment for the nation. Barak, you've done it again. Let's run through the game. So USA batted first. They made 110. A gentleman's 110, they've been calling it. It was a good score, but we've got to talk about Arshdeep Singh, who is player of the match with his 4 for 9.
Yeah.
And not for the first time, indeed. America had that front pad blown off first ball. Unbelievable stuff. But that sort of set the tone, and you thought, does one bring 2 here? It didn't. USA did sort of come together. But Arshdeep Singh, 4 for 9.
Yeah, first ball of the game as well.
I can't believe people are calling for Bumrah to get the new ball after his disgusting figures of none for 25.
Well, Bumrah does have a weakness against America. You know what I'm saying? America can walk away. A couple of things America can take away from this game.
Yep.
Right? Bumrah in the back pocket, and also a software engineer from Oracle knocking over Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. You know what I mean? There's a couple of small wins that you can take from this.
Of course, India's lineup will change once they move to the Caribbean, or indeed Miami for their last game against Canada. Thank you. With obviously Kuldeep in the side, you'd figure, well, Axar did play a pretty crucial role in the game against Pakistan, but spin will play a bigger factor. But Arshdeep has put in a great performance here today. It's
moving it around.
It's obviously been a bowling tournament in the New York leg of this World Cup, but that is he's their death bowler. He's their 19th and 20th over bowler with Bumrah there. But up top, it was outstanding today. And look, it's, as I said earlier, it's been a bowling bowling friendly tournament for New York, but even still, hats off.
Bowlers have prospered on the shit tip. Simple as that. Yep. Bowlers have prospered, and batters haven't.
For the USA, Stephen Taylor, 24 off 30, and then Nitish Kumar, 27 off 23. At the end, Steve Smith made somewhat of an important call. He said, like, on the last ball, was like, this feels like a big ball in the game. Yeah. And he was right. Steve Smith had a great game.
He's a very good commentator, Steve Smith.
Steve Smith had a good game.
Yeah.
Once again, Australians doing well at the World Cup.
Do well,
just inject ourselves into this. But it did feel like it. 110. I mean, that's now the biggest score that's been chased in New York after what was yesterday for 106.
Right. Records falling everywhere.
At the halfway stage, genuinely, did you think, I'm having a look?
It was on. I thought it was on. Yeah, no, definitely having a look. I always felt like India would just have a little too much. But there was a period there where DUBE and Sky were trying to resurrect things in the second innings. I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, where it was tough to go at more than a run a ball. It was a long period in between boundaries, and it had the feel of the India-Pakistan game, where ordinarily in T20 games you can finish with a flurry. You can let the balls. You can take it deep. I was thinking about balls deep, and not to be confused with Arshdeep.
Arshdeep. You talking about Arshdeep?
Yeah, I was. You can let it go deep and then back yourself to hit big.
Yeah.
But not on this deck. There's been no evidence of that.
Yep.
But luckily there was a 5-run penalty and a couple of boundaries, and they got there.
So talking about rough starts, go to the second thing. Virat Kohli first ball, caught behind from House.
Yes.
It's been a rough trot. I was just saying to you before that, I mean, Kohli ends up having a really good tournament. I think there was very fair conversations around the strike rate given what that tournament was in the IPL. But he was leading run scorer. He did have a good tournament and ended up striking about 140, 150, something like that. But it was his second most runs he's ever scored in an IPL. And then, like, you saw, is he going to bring that into the tournament? And then he's going to play on these, like, tough decks. I said yesterday, I've got a degree of sympathy for Pakistan, who really should be 3 from 3, but they're not because it's Pakistan. But I've got a degree of sympathy with bringing great IPL form into this World Cup, then playing on this shit tip, on 3 of this. So his score's now
1, 4 and 0.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to back him to come back, because he's our close personal friend.
Yeah, we're friends now, so we're completely compromised in what we say about him, having met him and touched him once.
Touched him is the most important thing.
Yeah, of course. Smelt him.
But it is like, I do have a degree of sympathy for the lack of momentum now that he's bringing.
By the way.
He did smell good.
Smelled great.
Lack of momentum bringing into the rest of the tournament, you know. But it has been a surprisingly lean start from him so far. Suryakumar Yadav and Shivam Dubé sorted it out with their partnership of, what are we looking at there? 60 something, 66, to sort the game out. But, just leading into that, you know what? Want now, get now. Brought to you by our friends at Big Basket. Now. Okay, it is the moment of the match. It's getting real close. And at this stage, in the last 8 overs, I think India required 7.5 and over the last few overs.
And Netravolta had just dropped Sky.
Just put down Sky.
And you said at the time, he goes, he's never taken that. He's got to take it, and he's never taking it.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's just the way the body moves towards the ball. It's never settled. The head's all over
Beastie
the place.
Boys.
The hands aren't in line with the head.
Yeah.
And then he gets there, and then you look at it, he's like, well, you should be catching that every day of the week in a month of Sundays.
Yeah, okay.
Which I don't think is the same, but if I'm a professional cricketer, you got to be catching that, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, he doesn't. And then shortly after that, in fact, it was the next over, 5-run penalty. We see the signal, whatever that is. Fans here up and about. It's probably the biggest cheer of the day.
That and the drop catch.
The drop catch.
Yeah.
Jay Shah's put the call in. It's getting a bit close. Let's just say he's up here. Everyone's had a good game. We've got the full quarter of 40 overs just about. Now let's just pull a couple of strings here. Let's make a call.
And for the sake of beta-triggered cucks, yes, know the rule. It's a new rule. You've got to start the new over in 60 seconds. And apparently they'd transgressed on that 3 times. But what people don't realise is that Paul Rifle has an earpiece into Jay Shah.
Yes.
So
it's a 3 strikes policy, as we know in the US.
Haven't seen it applied to any other team. You might say, well, that's because they've got there in 60 seconds. Yeah. Well, have they? You know what I mean?
Do your own research with that.
That's right. There was only 1 bullet. That's what they say as well.
Do you know what also sucked the life out of the team? So it was the drop catch, the 5-run penalty, which then made a runner ball for the last 5 overs, 30 off 30. Not to be confused with 34-30, which is an ESPN program.
That's
Highly
right.
recommend that. And then the next ball of that over, they ran a 2 to the leg side, just a little dink in, and it just sort of like, it was a good shot and well-executed double, but like it just sucks the life out of the team even more. And it just felt like, well, okay, this is now a procession.
I think there was a couple of overs there with, it was Ali Khan and Corey Anderson, where last ball of Ali Khan's over goes for 6, first one of Corey Anderson's goes for 4 or something, then you got the double, and India were home and hosed, basically.
So Shivam Dubé finishes 31 off 35, and Sky finishes 50 off 49.
Yep,
I mean,
it's good knock.
Some of those shots in the end, we've seen them a million times before, but like, the shot that he plays, he's got pace on the ball and he flicks it over behind square.
Yeah.
On these decks, there is no pace on it, but he still manages to get him in front of square. There was a lofted one over mid-off. I mean, the execution of that is almost more impressive on such a shit tip.
Yes.
And then at that time of the game, they end up cruising, but right here at this fan park, there was... Fuck me, people were nervous. Not me. I was having a good time.
That's right. I was folding arms, thinking about lost subscribers, but good laughs.
Good laughs in the end. Yeah.
It was an interesting scene down here. Like a lot of naturalized Americans. Sitting here with like pizza boxes.
Yeah.
Like with their slice of New York pizza. Watching cricket between the USA and India. It is not something that you'd ever have imagined seeing.
No.
Which is kind of cool. And we're only 10 metres away from where Dale Steyn was taught how to bowl by a New York coach.
He's actually still there working his action.
Well, I think it's wonderful for US cricket, you know what I mean? Like there's Dale Steyn, being taught how to keep a straight arm and And now we understand why Sunil Narayan opted out of this World Cup. You know what I mean? Sorry, KKR.
He couldn't get down to the fan activation. Anyway, Sky played well. It's good news all round. And
there's someone doing a tour here as well. I don't know what for.
With a pirate flag.
Yeah, it seems to be a black pirate flag, skeleton, skull and crossbones. Not sure about that.
Anyway,
that's a bit inappropriate.
The USA have been fantastic contributors to the tournament so far. So let's get into the final thing today before we get into AskTGC. Setting up that last game. So the situation is Pakistan must win their game against Ireland. Ireland.
Yes.
And if Ireland beat the USA,
yes,
Pakistan will go through.
If the net run rate is correct, right? That would be the USA would still have won.
Yeah, but
2-3 games.
I think at the moment the net run rate is so close, or even Pakistan might be slightly in front.
Right.
That if
but they just need Ireland to Ireland to beat the USA, right? Which can happen.
Yes, and then they need to do their job against
Yeah.
So that's the situation, but it almost feels like for the next part of the tournament, I mean, USA deserve a reward. They've brought in fantastic form to this tournament beforehand. We learned about that. Obviously, they had a great result against Bangladesh beforehand. They were fantastic against Canada in Dallas. They were excellent today. And, of course, they've done the big thing of this tournament, and they knocked off Pakistan and given everyone a great laugh. You know what? Including most Pakistan fans. Fans. I'm thinking of
35 finance 6'5", blue eyes.
You know what, Pezza? Yeah. It's been a hell of a trip.
It's
been a hell of a trip for us. So that's what the situation is. And you know what? Who have you got, Pezza? Who have you got? Go and make a prediction
for the World Cup.
No. Who's going to win? Who's going to go through in this group?
No, I've got the US going through. That's what I've got. I write these things down. I wake up in the morning. I write down who have I got. Yeah. Who have I got going through?
Well, there's actually a board here, like figuring it all out. So I'm actually going to learn about what this is all about. So that's going to be good. All right, #AskTGC. Please get in your #AskTGCs into the comments below because we need them. We embrace them and we welcome them. This one comes in from Santosh Kapoor, 1110.
Thank you.
#AskTGC. Do you think Australia would be willing to tactically lose to Scotland or drub against them in order to kick England out? So that is a poignant one in conversation, in cricket conversation today. Should Australia lose or narrowly win?
Yes.
Not being used with Narrowly Meadows.
Narrowly Meadows.
Which is, again, an incorrect pronunciation of her name, against Scotland to kick England out.
Yeah, and I saw Josh Hazlewood say that it would be in Australia's best interests to have England out of the World Cup, which is one, funny, and two, a compliment to England. So I don't know what else we're meant to bring to that, which was swiftly followed by a lot of rule nonsense saying that you're not allowed to manipulate run rates, etc.
It's actually match fixing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if India was helping the US's net run rate when they were on the go slow for about 5 or 6 overs here. Don't know what that's about. But I don't think anyone's going to mention that. Should Australia do that? Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny if they do.
You know what I think? I think this is all part of tournament play. If you've got a chance, I know it's not as black and white as that. I understand, and of course that is very convenient for the country that I support, kicking out their main rivals.
Totally.
I get it. But tournament play, I say play on.
Now,
if it was roles or reverse, I'd be like, well, come on, guys. I mean, I thought we're all friends.
Yeah. Look, I actually feel sick thinking about the number of people are going to jump on this for, tedious morality questions. I think I've already seen it in Australian papers, like English people doing their pieces and writing articles. In the Australian press about what Australia's responsibilities are for this kind of stuff, and and it's just so tedious. You just know that if England were in the same situation, they'd consider what Australia's considering. I mean, you're exactly right. It's tournament play. I tend to think that when you do start fucking around with that stuff, the game catches up with you in some way, or it rains at some point. So you probably just want to go out and win the game, and what will be, que sera styles.
Perfect.
Probably. But if there is a way for Australia to go on the go slow, they send Zippy up the top of the order there and just to get a hit.
Oh, Zippy bats 3 now.
Yeah, that's right. Shot Zip.
Yeah.
Play Zip. Yeah, send Zip out there and he's just leaving balls. Leaving length balls.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of funny, and it'll catch up with Australia, down the track.
And that's also funny.
It's funny for other people. So it is the comedy approach.
Everyone wins. All right. Hey, this is the last time that Pez and I will be together in the US doing these reviews. Pez is going home tomorrow. I'm staying for an extra couple of days. So your dailies are going to be still coming hot and fast and thick and fast indeed. So if you just hate me, sorry for that. It's going to be me for the next couple of days. But this has been, we should sign off. It's been a wonderful trip. Dallas, New York, we've done it all, we've seen it all, we've tasted it all, we've sucked it all.
I don't really know what else to add, other than to speak generally about people saying thank you Dallas and thank you New York, but that's not an actual person.
No.
You know, people do that online. It's like, oh, New York, you beautiful beast, you know?
Yeah.
Then you want to create an account called New York and tell someone to fuck off. Fuck off, we're full. But that's a separate issue that I have.
Separate thing, yeah.
Yeah. No, huge thanks. Very special. Very special memories for us. We've been well embraced. It's gone well. We're tired, but
yes,
you know,
that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're telling bulk cricket stories at pace.
Yes, at pace. Well, first Debbie did Dallas, then TGC did Dallas, and then the two great men here went to our favourite city. Charlie's shaking his head. Fucking hell, two great men. Hey, thank you so much as always for getting behind TGC, for making all of this possible for just two idiots from the internet. It's been a wonderful trip. Still more to come on the channel, of course. Click subscribe. Thanks as always for getting behind us. We'll see you guys real soon. Cheers.